We were really loud and we didn't know how to play, and a lot of people misconstrued that for being a punk band. We were going to take the lazy man's route. We said we'd get a good producer. It's going to make us a great record. We're going to sit back and watch it happen. We kind of tried that and thought, oh, damn it, we're going to have to go in and work.
Slowly, but surely, we could probably maybe get on the radio.
Probably, maybe.
We did wild shit, but it still travels with us now because people see us flop at one gig and blame it right down on like booze and stuff, and we could be stone cold sober and just not feel like playing, and people just don't get it. They just think we're drunk all the time.
And was there ever a point where you actually, there's sort of a story going around, you actually sat down and said, this time we're going in this direction, it's going to be all new, this is the new Replacements? Was there ever any conscious decision like that?
That was the story we started. It was basically the
our
same
noses
old
grew a
stuff.
little too long with that one.
I had a guy come up to me last night and said, I really love your old records, but boy, this new one, I think it really sucks.
We apologize. Here they are, the Replacements.
What the hell are we doing here?
In my wax silver hair, in my biggest shoes, got a complex you might refuse. Tonight we're gonna take a stab. Tomorrow we'll drive a cab. It must look at some. Close your eyes, here we go. Playing at the talent show. Playing at the talent show. Come on along, here we go. Talent show. Check us out, here we go. Playing at the talent show.
Greetings, fellow Earth babies, and welcome to Post-Punk Heartstrings. I'm Jimmy James S. Butler, and we heard some sound bites from various interviews with the Replacements circa 1989, around the time that their album Don't Tell a Soul came out. Don't Tell a Soul is a much-maligned release from the Replacements, often rated near or at the bottom of the list of the best Replacement albums. Well, guess what? My guest today, Steven Wesley Guiles, and I both feel like this is the best Replacements album. Don't get me wrong, we love a lot of what the Replacements did on all of their other albums. They have some really fantastic songs, but we both feel that Don't Tell a Soul and All Shook Down rate among the top two Replacement albums, with Don't Tell a Soul edging out All Shook Down. I welcome everyone to the episode. I welcome especially any fans of the Replacements who have found their way to this episode. I'm quite sure that most fans of the Replacements are going to disagree with our conclusion and our thought process and our opinions on this one. But nevertheless, this is where Steve and I sit. So let's just get into this, right? Welcome to the talent show. It's too late to turn back. Here we go. Hey. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm just trying to find my... Okay, here we go.
You're good.
Good.
It's a true statement. Is that a greeting or a true statement?
It's a true. I am good. I am generally good. A good person.
You are a good person. I believe that. I believe you're a good person.
Thank you. Let's talk about Rock and Roll Ghost.
Let's talk about Rock and Roll Ghost.
Rock and Roll Ghost. I love that song.
Oh man, yeah. You ready? You ready to talk about it?
Let's do it.
I got a few notes. I really didn't. Sometimes I take notes, but this one I just kind of wrote a few things, some questions, and just in case. But yeah, I was like, Steve and I will just have a discussion.
Yeah,
and see wherever it goes. Right. So,
how did you find this album? By the way,
oh good, yeah.
When did you come upon this album?
You stay in your lane. You
oh, I'm sorry.
What the kids are saying
stepping back.
You stay in your lane. Take a seat.
Who's being interviewed here?
I heard a really good one the other day. God, I wish it was like my kids use all these, so because they're in their 20s to late 20s. You stay in your lane, take a seat, and there was another one that I heard the other day that I was like, oh, that's gold, and I can't fucking remember what it was, but it was super. Okay, so yeah. My recollection, and it's been a long time because it was right after it came out. I know it was right after it came out because it was before All Shook Down came out. So it was
See, I came to
probably
yeah. Okay, keep going. I didn't get it
that-
when it came out.
it was probably 1990, maybe. It was
Oh, when
'cause
it
it came
when
out in
this actually came out.
89. I think it came out in 89. I had to look it up because I was like, I'm
Yeah,
sure it
let's
was
see.
pretty sure it was late 80s.
The
But
album was
I
recorded, yeah,
I
80
think
something.
I was just looking for anything cool then that was not the mainstream, because I was raised with the Christian stuff, right? And I listened to secular too. I had brothers and sisters that's all they listened to. There was no Christian music. But I was a little more sheltered and a little more, I went to a Christian school, and I think you did too, right?
Yeah,
You went to Christian high school or
I
no?
went to
No.
Christian
Okay.
University.
Christian,
I
yes,
was in a
that's right.
public high
Azusa.
school.
Yeah, Azusa.
Yeah, I went to Azusa Pacific.
After the revival. After the Azusa Street revival.
There was
or
no
whatever.
revival at that time. Yeah, luckily I avoided that. But I found it while I was at Azusa Pacific University on choir tour my freshman year. There's a guy who I'm still friends with. His name's Ace, after Ace Frehley. He plays lead guitar. He's a really good guitar player, and his name's Sean Hall. And he told me, we were at this like gas station, and it had one of those little turnstile things with cassette tapes in it.
Yeah.
And it was they were like $2.99 or something for. He said, "Get these two," and he handed me "Don't Tell a Soul" and "All Shook Down." So I got those, and I just listened to them on my Walkman during this choir tour where we toured quite a bit for summer months, and I just loved it. It was like so good. Just instantly was like really excited about it. And I didn't go back necessarily and like just get every single record at that point. Like I've gone back and I appreciate and love a lot of stuff on the earlier records, but I really, really like these two records a lot. Like, and I love most of Paul Westerberg's solo stuff too. Talent show. I just love how that song starts. Like it's an actual talent show, and it's so raw, and then how it kicks in, and it's so good.
And it has that part in the middle where they're kind of like it falls apart.
Yeah, where it breaks down.
It's so great.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
And we'll get to that.
Yeah, okay.
No, that's cool.
So that's where I discovered the record first. That's how I
so
first came
I think
to the replacement.
I'm pretty sure I just saw kind of the same thing. I saw it like display or bin of cassette, whatever, and bin of cassettes, or remember they used to have the bins, or they'd have a bunch of stuff. I saw it and I was like, I just saw the cover and I was like, and I saw the name. Because in those days, everything that was if it's the Call, if it's the Replacements, if it's the Cure, if it's and the cover looks cool, there's a good chance it's going to be some cool modern rock or whatever. So I was like, I'm getting it, and I just it blew me away. Like, and that was Don't Tell a Soul. I got All Shook Down, after when it came out. But I was like, man, this is amazing, and I probably paid $3 or $4 for it, and I was like, I can't believe I don't know anything about who this band is, and I didn't know for years even what came before that for the Replacements.
Yeah,
you could have told me this is their first album, and I would have been okay.
Yeah,
I had no clue, no clue. And like you, since then, I've listened back to the other ones, and I appreciate parts of them, and some parts I appreciate a lot. But this one and All Shook Down kind of have a special place for me too, just because maybe it's because it's the first thing I discovered. But they're just a completely different category than the other albums, and that's part of when I told you I wanted to talk about the Replacements, if I wanted to talk about Don't Tell a Soul, because it's widely hated by Matt's fans. And I knew that you liked it because we had talked about it before. I think we talked about it last time we talked, and you don't remember, but way back when we first interacted back in the late 90s by Juno Mail or whatever it was. You mentioned the album then, and I think at that time you told me you really liked All Shook Down. So I'm gonna let you talk, but I did want to say a couple things. First of all, I put a poll. There's like a I can't remember. I'm in a few groups that are like post-punk groups on Facebook, so it's full of like people who are like kind of elitist. I mean, to be honest, right? So I put a poll on there, like your favorite Replacements album. Okay. So you see this now, right? This is my poll that I put on Facebook. So I don't think there's a big surprise of what has the biggest bar. Are you surprised by that? Let It Be.
No, I've heard a lot of people.
Like if you go reading, Let It Be is the best one. That's what all hardcore fans, especially those from the beginning, are going to say.
Yeah, right.
Tim made a good showing. Pleased to Meet Me made a good showing. Don't Tell a Soul made a showing.
All Shook Down, 0.
All Shook Down got no love whatsoever.
Yeah, that makes me so sad. I would have selected it.
I know. I accidentally put Hot Nanny. So I typed these in. So it's Hot
funny.
Nanny. It's not Hoot Nanny. I've changed the name, but that got a little bit. There's always one of these guys whenever I do something like some guy put Who at the bottom. Like somebody put that in. I didn't put that in. Some smart ass is like
wrote it in. Yeah.
Some non-mats. Yeah, I don't know why. The second one's not as emphatic because it's 1 question mark rather than 5. And the listeners can't see this.
Let It Be did have some really good songs.
It did. It did.
Androgynous, Unsatisfied, Answering Machine.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk about why I don't think it's.
But I didn't know those. I didn't know any of that.
Get out of
here. Way later, right? I think I got like a box set or something, and then the one with the ship on it. I forget what it was called, but it was some cool CD release that kind of
ship on it.
It had like a ship on it. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't one of the main. Was it one of the main releases?
It was like in 2000 and something, or late 90s maybe. What was it called? Compilation albums. All for Nothing, Nothing for All, I think is what it was.
Yeah. But then I tried to look up each member of the Replacements and what their favorite Replacements album was. And the only one I found was Tommy Stinson, but he was the bassist, right? One of the founding members. I think they said he was like 11 when they started the band in their basement, he and his brother, Bob Stinson, right?
And what album did he say?
All Shook Down was his favorite. That surprises me. I don't know why. I was just surprised by that. Not because I don't like the album, but just because, I don't know. Does that not surprise you?
They probably really loved it because it's like later and they had worked on it and he was maybe a more, I don't know, like he's at that age when he's starting to take in music. And
I just think it's really interesting, especially with his brother basically getting removed. We're going to use the word removed from the band. But yeah, I wanted to mention that because I was like, wow, that's really interesting. Okay, I think his top 3 were All Shook Down. Shoot, what was the second one? I know the third one was Tim. Oh, Pleased to Meet Me. So it was All Shook Down, Pleased to Meet Me, and then Tim. So respectable choices, I think.
Yeah.
So I got a lot to say, but I want you to say. I want you to jump in with whatever you want to jump in with.
Sure.
Because I got thoughts on the history of the Replacements and the kind of band they are or were.
Oh, man. Did you read the Trouble Boys?
No, is that is it an actual
like
book about that?
Autobiography, yeah.
I watched the documentary. Color Me. You need to watch it.
I haven't watched the documentary.
Do you know about it?
Yeah, I know about it.
It's Color Me. It's not Color Me Impressed. That's their song.
It might be Color Me Impressed, though.
It might be. I think it's free, like if you have streaming like Roku or something.
Color Me Obsessed.
Yes, that's it. Color Me Obsessed. I did watch that. See, I didn't know. Maybe you knew about this before because you might be a bigger fan than me. I'm not sure. I want to talk about that too. But
I haven't watched I didn't see that movie, so obviously.
So I'm a bigger fan. You suck.
But I read the book.
But you wrote a song about Paul. So
I did write a song about Paul.
And you read the book. That's more of a commitment than the documentary. Watching the
documentary.
Even though that documentary's like close. The documentary's like 2 hours at least, I think. And it's all documentary, if you know what I mean. It's all
like shots of a bunch of different people talking.
It's not music, and it's like all to people talking and just people giving their opinion. And I didn't know really about their history till I started watching that. I was digging into this to do this chat. I didn't realize how fucked up they were.
Dude, they were so fucked.
And they were their own worst enemy. Their own
I read
worst
the book.
fucking
Yes,
enemy.
they were their own worst enemy. They, it's amazing they got as many people hearing their music as they did with how self-destructive they were.
Yeah.
Which I think is a testament to the songs.
Yeah.
Being so good. I think one of the reasons they stuck out is because Paul wrote songs. Like, he was a songwriter, and he wrote hooks. He has a lot of clever turns of phrase.
Yeah,
he does a
absolutely.
lot of really cool things with common phrases, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
Love. Like, it just, you almost don't notice it because it's so well done, and he's so good at that. Like, I think that's one of the things that I really love about just everything that he's done.
He's in that category of people that do that, and you're like, how did he do that? It's genius.
Yeah.
Like
He's
wow.
just has something. I think that's a big part of it. I think he's got like that thing.
Yeah.
That a lot of people don't have.
I think, and we'll jump around here, but I think that's why I think Don't Tell a Soul is full of that. It's full of that on every song. There's a lot of it, which is one of the reasons this is my favorite album. And I think it's their best album. That's one of the reasons. I think I've got other reasons, but I think it's full of his turn of phrase and his wordplay.
Yeah.
That's like, wow. It's just a wow, like every step of the way, pretty much for me. But
yeah, this is like the line in the very first song.
So great.
Got an offer you might refuse,
I know.
Just like
that's
a cool line.
He's so autobiographical. Is that a word? Autobiographical?
Autobiographical. Sure.
It is autobiographical.
Autobiographical. Yeah. He's telling a lot of his story in the lyrics.
Right. And I don't think that's just on this album for sure, but
no.
This album was kind of like this moment of, this is like our last heave ho or whatever. And even though it's our last heave ho, I'm going to put all these tongue-in-cheek things in, So talking about the first song, Talent Show, until I started looking into this, I hadn't seen the footage of, it was from a awards show, a music awards show. Have you seen that? It was after the album came out. Oh, let's see. Let me see. I've got it written. You can look it up. It's on YouTube, I think. I want to say it was like some music awards show or whatever. And they did that song. And it was so awesome. It just was so apropos. They're on the show. I think he says, "What the hell are we doing here?" at the beginning, when he starts, and then the song talks about, we go on after some lip sync chicks or whatever. And they made them change Feeling Good from the Pills We Took, right? They wouldn't let him sing that. They wouldn't let him sing that. So on this thing, I forgot what they said. They said Feeling Good. I can't remember what they said in place of it. Feeling Good from the Pills We Took. But then later he says, "It's too late to take pills. Here we go."
And then he threw
it in at the end, even though he wasn't supposed to, because they were supposed to not say it. Once again, you guys are doing a very Replacements thing, but you're like,
yeah, he was always middle finger
shooting yourself. And he stuck his tongue out of the camera, I think, at the beginning of it. You have to watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I pulled it up.
And Matt Dillon's in the audience. I guess Matt Dillon's a big Replacements fan, so he's in the audience, like, they show him
rocking. He's
like
loving
pumping
it.
his fist or
loving
something.
It. Oh yeah, there's the 46 seconds in. Paul sticks his tongue out at the camera.
Yeah. The camera comes up. He's like, eh.
And then he probably has a "fuck you" look on his face when he did the pill line at the end. But yeah, I did. I put in the chat there. I did like for Inktober. I did a speed draw of the album cover. I drew the album cover and like did my own little acoustic instrumental version of Talent Show that I did for the backing.
I didn't know that.
I had a lot of time.
I'll put that in the podcast notes.
Yeah, put that in the notes.
And
I love it.
I can't wait to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, I like had a lot of fun doing that. So, gosh, I love Talent Show. I love the energy of that song, how it kicks off the album. It just sort of like hints at that
perfect beginning.
Yeah, it is a perfect beginning. Like, such a great.
And I think he said, "Hey, yeah, I thought it was a great way to start, because we usually start out with like some strong track, come right out of the gate, sort of with something roaring or whatever, but we're going to start with this on this one." But yeah, how great, right? It's like, okay.
So great. So great.
Here we
And
are at
then-
the talent show. We're like, this is our shot at finally making it, our last chance. There's a lot of lyrics in these songs that are on it that kind of refer to their situation as a band, I think.
Yeah. Let's see. So the next song is Back to Back.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Love that one. I think there's allusions in there because it says, why don't you put a book up on our heads, put some pistols in our hands, count 20 paces at dawn, count 20 questions we'll get wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you put a book up on our heads and put some pistols in our hands? Count 20 paces at dawn, count 20 questions we'll get wrong. You know that I made a mistake. Oh, you know that I will stand face to face if you want. Face to face. If you own it to the
You interpret what you interpret, right? But
Yeah.
like, okay, I think that's maybe an illusion also. But he wrote these songs that could be taken different ways, right?
And they're they're just so catchy.
So catchy. That's the thing. They're catchy. I was thinking about the differences between the previous albums and this one, and I was thinking like there's such great songs on a lot of the previous albums. These songs on this album seem to be catchy all the way through. It's not like you're waiting for that moment where, oh God, I love this part. I can't wait for this part. And there are some moments in these too, like that, right? But I feel like for me, and part of it's the ear of the beholder, right? But
yeah,
I feel like I listen to these and I'm like, I love this all the fucking way through. It's not like I have to wait for him to scream something or for that, little guitar thing they do or whatever. Oh, this part's awesome. It's like, it's all the way through these for me.
Yeah. And I think you have all the experience they've had from touring and writing and being in the studio. So they have all that. They also they had Slim playing guitar.
Slim Dunlap.
And he's such a great player and brought a lot to the recording, I think.
There's a lot of talk about the production of this album by Chris Lord Alge. I guess that's how you say his name. I don't know.
I always thought it was Algie.
Okay,
but
it could be. I don't know.
It might not be though.
It looks like Algie. Algie's more fun. Chris Lord Alge.
Chris Lord Alge.
And you got to do it like you got to draw it out. Chris Lord Alge.
Chris Lord Alge.
I have no idea. But there's been a lot of talk about that. So have you listened to the Matt Wallace produced version, the Dead Man's Pop?
Yeah, and I honestly don't like it as much because
I don't either.
Just because of how I've heard it my whole life. It's like it's just nostalgia.
I've tried
anytime
to be
a band
objective.
does that, it's
Yeah.
very rare, unless it's just a remaster where they're just bringing the levels up and making it sound punchier. Like where I like what they do, because there was something about that original recording is what caught my. And it's not because of the songs, because it's the exact same song lyrically, but like there's different like arrangements, right? Like some of those are like arranged differently, and like I remember hearing it and going, oh, there's some things that I thought were kind of cool, but I see why the ones that made the record the way they did.
Yeah,
like I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good decision.
if I think Matt Wallace did. I mean, he did those at the time. He had a version of them. He redid it for Dead Man's Pop, I think. But I think there was a version of his production at the time that either got lost or something happened to it or something. Lost, exactly. Because
air quotes. I mean, that could be one of those situations where they lost it and hid it somewhere.
Yeah, the record company wanted a more radio-friendly produced, and I guess Chris Lord Alge was, I think, kind of known for that. Maybe I can't remember what other bands he did, but personally, I think they needed the production in a way to make the album like what it was. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like I tried to be objective. Maybe it's because how I heard it, but I really prefer the album as it was compared to the other. it's fun to be
Yeah.
able to listen to different, you know,
Yeah,
production or different
yeah.
arrangement. I think is a better way to say it. But
Here's a production thing I love is the start of "We'll Inherit the Earth." That,
on
like
Matt Wallace or this
on this one, on the original.
it's better on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember the Matt Wallace. I probably didn't.
I'm trying to pull it in my head. I just remember. I probably can if I think about it long enough, but I just remember it's not. It's like what's happening there. I think this is much better.
But
it goes
yeah, it's got
those little.
It's got that cool guitar. It's sort of like
sort
of fades in, and then it's got that acoustic guitar kind of driving. That sort of like it's sort of like the spacey. Like I have it pulled up. There's actually, you can hear him singing, like kind of buried under some like chorus or some kind of thick effect, and then that guitar.
Yeah, they're singing. Yeah.
I actually didn't even notice that before.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's such a great song.
Shocking out nothing shocks anymore. The message read as it washed ashore. Skies turn black as my eyes look down. Written on the back of these words I found. We'll inherit the earth, but we don't want it. It's been ours since birth, and what you do around it. We'll inherit the earth, but we don't want it.
That was probably the one that jumped out to me the most when I first got the album. Maybe because of my background, you know, because from the Beatitudes or whatever, you know, isn't that what it's called? The Beatitudes, where they're talking about, you know, the meek will inherit the earth.
Shall inherit the earth.
Yeah. So maybe that was it, but
yeah, I mean, that is a huge part of how that, like, why that resonated with me too. And then it's just like our lips will quell. I love that line.
Yeah,
it's just so
I actually
artsy.
On my notes, I actually pulled the lyrics out for each song, and that was one of the ones I pulled. We watch the world from the padded cell, and our eyes scream, and what our lips must quell. Oh well. And then I think there's a guitar solo right after that, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And I love also when he's sort of semi screams at the top of our lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great. And there's so many moments like that in the different songs here. He sounds very
and this
earnest.
song has so many huge moments, like that scream at the end, and where it just kind of echoes out.
And then he says, "I got my hands in my pockets, and I'm waiting for the day to come."
Yeah.
So I'm
Hands
interpreting
in my
this whole
pocket.
thing. Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the day to come. Oh man, so
great.
good. Yeah.
How does anybody not like this album? I don't understand.
Because it just wasn't like raw. It wasn't as raw and punk as.
That's what you're going to hear my theory on what I think. I think that's part of it. It didn't lean to punk and bar music as much as the previous releases. I can almost include Pleased to Meet Me in there, but I don't really feel like I can. But before that, it was very bar music and punky type music. So I think that joined with sort of an elitist mentality of like, I was a fan when they were, you know, before they sold out with Don't Tell a Soul. And the love of them fucking themselves before that in performances, in album, you know.
I didn't really learn about that till way later too.
I didn't either.
When I got into the message boards, and there was this thing called, I think it was the Skyway, was like a fan email / message board. And that, like, just like hearing these little bits and pieces of stories and about the albums and what everyone was up to, and, you know, just like further cemented them in my mind, like just like how awesome, and the fact that people cared enough to like even have these conversations because the songs were there, because there was something about them that was more than just a 3-chord power pop rock punk whatever. Not that there's like not legions of fans dedicated to bands that do that too, but there was something deeper than just the attitude or even just the drunken band mythology that they really did do. I mean, that was you did not, as it sounds like, you would never know what show you were getting from the Replacements, which was part of like maybe the fun of seeing them, unless you were seeing them for the first time and you didn't know about this. Is probably like super frustrating. But yeah, it's
so I get the people that don't like sort of, there's most people like Pleased to Meet Me, but a lot of people like from Pleased to Meet Me on are like, oh, that's, sellouts or whatever. And I kind of get that perspective, like from certain fans that were like really engaged before that, right? And I see, like, the way I see those early albums is I see like all the awesome songs that are like, oh wait, that there's that potential, like they're growing.
And it had like
he's growing as a songwriter. You can tell, like, man, that's super awesome, like what they did there. It's just the albums are not as consistent. Like they're kind of like, I mean, when you Let It Be, that, like, when somebody picks Let It Be as their favorite, I'm like, so you like Gary's Got a Boner? You like that? You think that's consistent with Unsatisfied? Is that one on that? That's what's on that one, right? Or is it Androgynous? Androgynous is on there, I'm pretty sure.
Answering Machine is on there.
Answering Machine is great. Unsatisfied, yeah. So you think Unsatisfied and Gary's Got a Boner are equivalent? Or even
Tommy Gets His Tonsils Out.
Tommy Gets His Tonsils Out. So I mean,
that was a co-write with
those are, to me,
band.
those are like karaoke type bars, like you're just messing around.
Androgynous was just Westerberg. Unsatisfied was just Westerberg. Answering Machine was Westerberg. I Will Dare was Westerberg.
That song is awesome.
Yeah. Those were solo written by Westerberg.
So it's not that I don't think Let It Be is an awesome album. I'm just like, Don't Tell a Soul, and I would even say Pleased to Meet Me, are so much more consistent. Even the one song that's kind of like a punky bar song, I Won't, on Don't Tell a Soul, it fits on Don't Tell a Soul with the rest of this. I mean, it works together.
Yeah.
I mean, so it just floors me that fans are like pissing all over Don't Tell a Soul.
Yeah.
I have heard people, I've heard some other podcasts and stuff, because I usually listen to podcasts if I'm going to do a band, so I don't do the same thing somebody else already did.
Yeah.
But I've heard other people be like, anybody who says Don't Tell a Soul is not a good album is just wrong.
They are wrong.
So
you're all wrong.
Every one of you.
Every single one of you listening right now.
I don't know.
If you ever thought that this wasn't going to... No, I love those, and I love a lot of those records.
Like Answering Machine is awesome. Even, what's the one?
Can't Hardly
Senior
Wait.
Video. Oh my God. That's a great song.
Video.
And I don't really... I'm not a huge fan of instrumentals, and it's mostly an instrumental till the end. But that's a really great song. Why did they put... I read this. What's the Kiss song that's on there? Black Denim? Is that a Kiss song?
Oh, yeah, Black Diamond.
Or Black Diamond. Why is that song on the album? I was like, why is this song on the album? Well, I read they were looking for another song. They needed one more song to put on, so they did a cover of a Kiss song. So to me, that's like, that right there is case in point why this is not the best Replacements album. It's good. It might be your favorite, but I don't know.
There's those skip songs.
I'm getting riled up.
No, there's like songs that I would skip,
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
right.
That's what I'm saying.
And on Don't Tell a Soul, and I think All Shook Down, I don't think there's any song I want to skip.
Yeah, All Shook Down is amazing. I couldn't believe that didn't get any votes. And I think that goes back to the whole thing of I'm an old school, I'll use that term. I'm an old school Replacements fan. So I like the early albums before they sold out, and All Shook Down came after they sold out. So therefore it cannot be a good album, but it is. It's a great album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll step off.
So
I'll step off the box for a minute.
what else on this record?
I was going to ask you what your favorite tracks are. I absolutely love Darling One.
Yeah, Darling One. That's an interesting one because that was like one of the few that was a co-write with everybody.
So who was that a co-write with? The band?
Everyone in the room, I think, co-wrote that one.
And again, autobiographical. You could interpret some of the lyrics autobiographical. Darling One, your time has come.
Yeah, I heard it was about like someone losing their virginity.
Yeah, and that's probably right. But I'm interpreting as I interpret.
I said, hey, darling one, your time has just begun.
Let's see. Yeah, that was Darling One was the only one that was written by everybody. It was Paul, Slim, Chris, and Tommy.
Okay.
All the rest of the songs were all Westerberg. So, talent show back to back.
Asking Me Lies. I mean, even the title of Asking Me Lies is genius to me. I mean,
yeah.
And Aching to Be.
Aching to Be.
I love the Rockers.
I have that one pulled up. That's such a great.
Aching to Be is probably one of my favorites too. All the lyrics in that.
Kind of like a movie everyone rushes to see. No one understands it. Sitting in their seats. She opens her mouth to speak. What comes out's a mystery. Thought about, not understood. She's aching to be. Oh my God.
Yeah, because every single person can relate to that. I don't know.
And that bridge too. The bridge isn't anything incredible lyrically, but musically and like emotionally. I've been aching for a while.
Yes,
now,
I have those lyrics.
I've been aching hard for years.
Yeah.
What comes out to mystery? Thought about, not understood. She's aching.
And he does that a lot. He'll have lyrics about she or you or whatever, and then he'll switch it to I or us. Like at the end.
And that last line
he does that a lot.
So good. Well, I saw one of your pictures. There was nothing that I could see. If no one's on your canvas, well, I'm aching to be. So good. Like
oh my God. Yeah.
There's so many great like turns of phrase that are just not even appreciated. So like why people go back and re-listen and care about it so much is because there's so, it's like, I feel this way about Radiohead with a lot of their recordings. Like sonically, I just hear so many different things. They're
Mhm.
so complex, and there's so many weird little like lines and recordings and sounds that they're messing around with. And I think with Paul, melodically and sounds, like they have a really good, I love his guitar sound. I love his like tone.
Mhm.
I saw him play live for 14 songs, or one of the
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the
Yeah.
two solo records, and it was amazing. He was so good.
When it came
The
out,
band
like
was
right
so
after it came
good.
out, so that would have been a while back. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
awesome.
was a while back. It might have been 14
Wow.
songs. It might actually have been
Yeah.
14 songs, and it had the coolest lineup. The drummer was the guy that plays for the Vandals, and I think he's might play for the Foo Fighters now. Shoot, oh, what's his name? He's like a total drummer whore. He plays for everybody, and he's just like really good. Like he was there, and it was this other really good guitar player. Everyone was just so good. Like they were just so pro, and every note was just perfect, and sounded so tasty. But yeah, they did some of these songs, mostly his solo stuff. They did a few replacement songs. Aching to Be. Okay, my favorite songs.
Yeah,
I
let's
don't know
hear
if
it.
I could rank them, but
It's so hard to pick. isn't it?
Talent Show, Will Inherit the Earth, Aching to Be, I'll Be You, Rock and Roll Ghost, Darlin' One. So like 6 of
Yeah.
the songs on there just jump out like as songs that I constantly like want to hear.
I'll Be You is a
And
song that is in my head like regularly, like the lyrics, for some reason.
yeah,
I don't
is
know
it
why.
like
I don't know why.
rent free in your mind?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I'll even say it to people sometimes. Like I just say some of the lyrics or whatever. If it's a
Oh
temporary
yeah,
lull, why am I
yeah.
bored right out of my skull? I'll say that all the time.
If
If
it's
it's
a
a temporary
temporary lull,
lull,
why am I?
why am I bored? I don't know why that song just sticks in my head like nothing else.
It's catchy. It's just catchy.
Yeah, it is. But again, a dream too tired to come true. And I do have a comment on it because he says left a rebel without a clue. And there was a lot of discussion on who came up with that phrase, rebel without a clue. Some people said, no, Tom Petty came up with that. And they said, well, Tom Petty toured with the Replacements. And the word is that he borrowed that from them. But it's kind of sad that I went down this rabbit hole, actually, like who's who, where that phrase came from.
I think that's great.
But the first,
because it's such a great
person
line
to use that rebel without a clue, Bonnie Tyler, in 1986. The song is called "Rebel Without a Clue." Lyrics written by Jim Steinman. So there you go.
Interesting. So
and Jim Steinman wrote "Total Eclipse of the Heart."
Oh wow!
Took the words right out of my mouth. Holding out for a hero. Okay, I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that. So there's 2 Meatloaf songs so far. He wrote 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad, and he wrote Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Wow.
So there's the off-topic
yeah.
No,
I love it. There's so many. Honestly, I'll Be You has such cool lyrics too.
Oh yeah.
Lonely, I guess that's where
best.
I'm from. If I was from Canada, then I'd best be called Lonesome.
Lonesome,
And
yeah.
And if it's just a game, then I'll break down just in case.
Does he say if I was from Canada? I always hear it as
If I was from Canada. How do you hear it?
I thought I was from Canada or something like that. But
That's from I thought it was from Canada. I think that would be
I thought it was Canada.
I think that's funny. Like how many?
I
There's
don't
probably
know.
a lot of lines in there where I hear it one way because I never.
And then he
went
had
back.
a dream he was Surfer Joe.
Yeah.
What that means, I don't know. That's all off the top of my head. See, I don't do a lot of lyrics off the top of my head, but that's one song that I can sit there and do that with. And it's weird. That's one of the ones that pops into my head. Like I could not listen to the song for months, and for some reason, the lyrics from it will pop into my head.
I love how this is something I always aspire to now, like in a lot of my songs, like the importance of that chorus line, that like clincher line that's at the end of the chorus, the last thing you hear and the most like important part, like to place it there. And
okay.
Like that turnaround of like, oh yeah, I'll tell you what we could do, setting up the rhyme for you be me for a while, I'll be you. So like the title track, I'll be you, which is just, it's a cool phrase. It's like a cool I'll be you, but like just musically, like knowing to like end it on that phrase, like to like have your rhyme come around to like hit there. Like he does that a lot. Like he does a lot of songs where he'll have that cool like resolution or that payoff be on that like that line, you know?
Yeah. And that's just songwriting skill, right? I mean,
it's just he's just like, that's because he studied and loves music and like listens to a lot of music, and that comes out in his writing.
Talking about him, like he was, you can correct me if this is wrong.
I'm gonna correct you.
Yeah, you will correct me, doggone it. My understanding, and again, you will correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know if I will.
Tommy and Bob started this band, and then they had Chris, and then Paul was a janitor, I think, is what I read. You read the book, so you should know you should know everything. And if you get anything wrong,
I honestly should have reread
you.
I honestly should have reread around the "Don't Tell a Soul" chapters, and so that I could answer all these questions.
No. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a janitor and joined the band, and Paul doesn't get a lot of love sometimes. Where would the band be without Paul?
Oh my
gosh. In the basement still playing music?
Yeah. They'd be playing bars, bad cover band playing bars.
And that's not, and no one hear me say, don't hear what I'm not saying, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the rest of them are not important parts of the band or didn't contribute essential parts or weren't good musicians. I'm just wondering, without Paul, where would they be?
I just don't like, well, so here's where they were. They were a trio. So Bob met Mars, a high school dropout, with Mars playing guitar, then switching to drums. The trio called themselves Dog Breath and began covering Aerosmith, Ted Nugent, and Yes, without a singer.
Yes, Bob was a big Yes fan, I think, is what I read.
One day Westerberg, a janitor in the U.S. Senator David Durenberger's office, was walking home from work. He heard the...
Thank you for the specifics on the
You're
senator.
welcome. Wikipedia is my friend. Oh, wow. The band eventually found a vocalist, but Westerberg wanted to be the singer and took him aside one day and said, "The band doesn't like you."
That's right.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yes.
That's so.
Yes,
that's so
I forgot about that. He basically is like, he's a usurper. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. They don't like you. I'm the singer now. So great.
So they were the Impediments.
Okay.
And then
so dog breath. And then after Paul joined, they were the Impediments.
They became the Impediments.
Yeah.
And then
which is a great name too.
They got banned from a venue, and then they had to change their name.
No, that's not.
Yeah, so they changed it to the Replacements.
By the way, you weren't drinking. I was going to mention you didn't have a beer. Did you have a beer earlier?
I didn't. I should have.
I'm pretty sure it's illegal to do a podcast about the Replacements
unless
you're drinking beer or sniffing cocaine or something like that. I don't know what their drug of choice was. Oh, you know what? The other thing I read, this was awesome. I know I'm jumping around, but this made me think of this. I read that Tom Petty gave, I think it was Paul, when they were on tour together, he gave Paul his hat that he wore in a video, and I can't remember the name of the video. And Paul sold it.
Put it somewhere.
Paul sold it for drugs.
Oh,
that's what they said.
Oh, they did so many things.
So replacements. So I'm gonna start using that. That's gonna be a new, when somebody does something that's like so self-destructive or like just like
so
harsh.
You just sold Tom Petty's hat.
I'm gonna be like, oh, that's so replacements.
So replacements.
And they'll have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'll know that that's all that matters. Tom Petty's hat.
How could you? How dare you?
I hope it was worth it. I hope it was. But yeah,
so,
I think you should have had a beer. I'm sorry you didn't.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure I can feel the same way about your input now, but
I wouldn't feel the same way about me either. I think I.
So what else do you see? You see anything else interesting there?
Well, I'll Be You. It's just a great song.
Yes. Yeah, you mentioned Rock and Roll Ghost, fabulous.
Rock and Roll Ghost. I mean, I just like that song was just so heavy and haunting and
so good.
Yeah.
No one here to raise a toast. Be my guest, and I will be the host. So great.
And then I look in the mirror and I see a rock and roll ghost.
Right. Yeah. Is that towards the end? Right. Yeah.
No one here to raise a toast. Take me by the hand, man, raise a toast. Oh, rock and roll ghost. Oh, rock and roll ghost. Into the mirror and I see a rock and roll ghost. My rock and roll ghost.
It's like they're talking about a whole other thing and then it turns back around and he's talking about himself, which I think you said earlier is possible why a lot of these songs also hit so hard, is because they're coming from a real place. They're not like some theoretical poetry experiment. It's even like, I mean, lyrically, the lyrics in We'll Inherit the Earth are very poetic. And there's another one too that's like that. There's a couple of them that have like a very like different style lyrically. They're really cool in a different way, even in the like how very poetic, like some of the like, you know, using a word like quell in We'll Inherit the Earth. But I think it rings true. I think the song rings true for some reason. You know, there's something about it that feels genuine, like the end, especially like I got my hands in my pockets and I'm waiting for the day to come. You know, like,
yeah, that's so great.
I don't know why, like I did not understand that song when I first heard it, and I was like, oh, this is something, you know, like this is like I just felt it, you know, I just felt it. I think that's
and that's what a lot of this is. Even not understanding it's feeling like he just has an earnestness in the lyrics and like the way he delivers them on this album. We're talking about different lyrics. So Anywhere's better than here. Anywhere's better than here. I love you press your luck up against his body.
Yeah.
That's so great. Love that so much. That's one of the other ones that sticks in my head a lot. Now you're stuck, but you like it down and dirty.
Press your luck.
Yeah. And that's one of those songs that's got a great like little guitar thing, you know, at one part where he's like, anywhere's better than here, and like he goes into this little guitar riff, like solo in the middle or bridge or whatever you would know what it's called because you're a musician, but I call it a bridge. But
bridge or a solo. Anywhere is better than background vocals too. They're so cool on this. The beginning of that song too is actually pretty. And that like yell like that. you know, like that.
Yeah.
That starting
anywhere,
like,
and then at the end, anywhere better than, anywhere better than, and that's how
Yeah.
that's kind of how it fades
Yeah.
out that way. It's so great.
You press your luck up against his body. Now you're stuck, but you like it down and dirty. You don't care where you're going. Anywhere is better than I'm going. Anywhere is better than. Anywhere is better than. Anywhere is better than. Anywhere is better than here. Your hair is black. Oh, because you tainted your laughs and jokes and tell me anywhere is better than. Anywhere is better than. Anywhere is better than. Anywhere is better than here. You press your luck, but you don't care. They play with your head, but they never stroke your hair.
And I don't know who's doing the back. Does it say who's doing? Do you have it up? Like I don't.
yeah, I have it
where
up. I don't think it says.
I don't have
who
it up
did
where it
that.
says who's doing. I don't know if it's Tommy. I don't know who it is. It's doing the background stuff.
Might be like a
I s-
gang vocal. Produced
don't
by
know.
Chris Mars, Matt Walls, Paul Westberg, Slim Dunlap. Formed by the Replacements. Yeah, it doesn't say.
I bet it says in what did you say? It's the book's called Turquoise Boys. Is that what you
Trouble
said?
Boys.
Trouble. Where did I get
Trouble
turquoise at?
I don't know. Probably my pronunciation. I love this line. You press your luck, but you don't care. They play with your head, but they never stroke your hair.
Yes. Yeah.
A couple ways that could be taken.
I'm not
too.
sure what that's referring to. Or oh my god.
It works on a couple levels.
Yes, it does.
Like
We'll say work.
entendre
We'll say
and,
we'll use the word works. Yeah, on a couple levels.
and even just like intimacy of like actually stroking someone's
What do you
hair.
think about I won't? I mean, even I won't is
Pull that up.
I
too.
think is great. Do you want me to potty? Do you want me to yakety yak?
Oh yeah.
And it's got
I think that's just a fun
it's got
song.
The horn. I think it's got a horn in it, right? Like dun, dun, I don't know. I think it's a great song. It's not my typical like type of song that I absolutely love,
Yeah.
but I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa,
It's
whoa,
got-
whoa, 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 whoa.
I
Do
love
you want
that
me to send a letter
repetition.
or a note? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh no.
Yeah, so great. It's got that pure like dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. It's got like that. I always think of it as like a sort of a bluesy type guitar.
Oh yeah, totally. He's so that's his thing.
And he wrote that
Um,
one too. You said he wrote all of them except for that.
He wrote
last
everything except for
lad.
Darling One.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all. A lot of people saw it as the first true Paul Westerberg solo album.
All Shook Down was pretty much that. Is that right? Kinda. I mean, I know
Yeah, I think so
I
too.
know.
All Shook Down came first, right?
it came.
and
It was
then-
the last one.
Oh, All Shook Down
It
was
came
the last
after Don't Tell a Soul.
one. Okay. Oh, okay.
And I've
okay,
read
okay.
that a lot of people consider All Shook Down basically a solo album,
Yeah, I'm pulling that
but
up
by
too.
Paul.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tommy was on it, and it's his favorite. That's why
Yeah.
it surprised me that it was his favorite, because I've always read that's basically a Paul Westerberg solo album, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not.
Oh yeah,
Kinda.
My Little
I mean, I get why
Problem,
they say
Torture,
that.
All Shook Down, Attitude, When It Began, Someone Take the Wheel, Someone Take the Wheel and Inherit the Earth. I feel like those two songs are like they actually are like the same song to me. I know it's
Yeah.
not, but it
No,
feels
I
like it's like
think I understand what you're saying.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it comes from kind of the same place. It's even I don't know if it's in the same place. Been Out of Shape, Nobody,
that's a great
Merry
one,
Go
too.
Round is just so
Every song on
freaking
there is good
catchy.
too. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
to me, that
All
album
songs
is
written by Paul
different.
Westerberg, except as indicated. And
That album doesn't have as much, I'm going to use the word muscle, but maybe
okay.
that's not the right word. It doesn't have as many muscle points as like the rock, like those hard guitar rockers, like sort of harsh. I don't know what, I can't use the right words. But,
yeah, no, but I know what you're saying. Like, yeah, there's like,
but it's just as good of an album.
tone.
It's just different, you know?
Yeah.
But it's as full and consistent as Don't Tell a Soul to me. So that
Totally.
speaks again to Paul, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's just such a
Speaking of, I was going to ask you, so on LA Was Our Alamo for Push Start Wagon, we talked about this last time, Paul, that song's about Paul Westerberg. So is that that was one of my questions.
Like references a Paul Westerberg lyric too. It references
it does,
Can't Hardly Wait, which we covered.
Jesus rides beside me.
Jesus rides beside me, never buys any smokes. Hurry up, I had enough of this stuff. Ashtray floors, dirty clothes, filthy jokes.
So one of my questions was, is that the only song you've written that references the Replacements? I'm assuming you wrote that.
I did. No,
sure
I
you
did.
Wrote it.
I
you
wrote
wrote
that.
the lyrics at least, yeah.
Yeah, I wrote the lyrics and the general vibe of the song. I wrote, and the band arranged it, and it became, you know, the way it was. And but
by the way,
it really was me.
If the listeners
Eric,
haven't checked out "LA Was Our Alamo," go do it. Right?
Yeah, I think especially I think if you like this
goes
record,
a ways back, but it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think it would fit in with some of the songs on the playlist with
oh yeah, for sure.
Don't Tell a Soul. Paul's a great song.
Looking away, 30 years of saying some other day, and you never thought you'd be the replacement. You said Jesus wouldn't buy you no smokes, he wouldn't laugh at all your off-color jokes, but you keep coming back like a hearse Cadillac to the funeral home that you took out on loan. Replace the guys who played in your band, and you never thought you'd be the replacement.
I don't think I have any other specific references to Paul and the Replacements.
I was trying to remember. I couldn't find the lyrics to that, and I couldn't remember them all. I was going to ask you a question about something. Is there something about? Shoot. I'm trying to think of it.
I'm looking for it too.
Yeah, maybe you have them. I couldn't find them.
I know I have the lyrics in my hard drive.
Yeah, I'm sure you have them somewhere.
If they're not on this,
was there something about a hearse? No.
Yeah. And Paul.
Yeah. What was that? Yeah. What was that line about? I always wondered what I was going to ask you, and we didn't get last time. You know, we talked about a lot of things.
I'm going to pull it up. This is
see if you can find it.
I feel this is very related to what we're.
Yeah. See if you can find it, because I'm very curious what that was. And I think they have a tour where they had a hearse on their I looked it up and I was like,
I didn't know.
I saw a tour shirt with something on it that I was like, oh, maybe that's where Steve got
no. So here's the line. So 30 seconds looking away, 30 years of saying some other day you never thought you'd be the replacement. Straight Replacement reference. You said Jesus wouldn't buy you no smokes, he wouldn't laugh at all your off-color jokes, but you keep coming back like a hearse Cadillac to the funeral home that you took out on loan. Honestly, it was just a cool image to me, and it was like a cool kind of extended metaphor, like just kind of you keep coming back like a hearse Cadillac to the funeral home that you took out on loan. No.
So what does that mean? You're talking about
I don't know what it means.
You tell me right now.
I honestly don't know.
I want to put your lyrics in a box, damn it.
Yeah. I wish I knew.
It has one meaning and one meaning. No.
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't. I mean, all around Paul Westerberg. It was all
That's a great
around...
lyric, by the way.
Yeah, I love it.
Congratulations.
I love it. And I love that I don't fully know.
It's catchy. Like it sticks in your head and it's unique, right? So it kind of makes that impression on your gray matter, like you're going to remember. Yeah.
That's a song.
Well done.
I should perform that one live. Like when I do my solo sets. That's a good song.
Yeah. Which I'll see someday when I take a quick trip over to California.
Well, maybe I just will tour and
that fits into your life scope right now, touring, and
it really could.
You never know.
I got I'm getting a passport, and
here you go.
And I have friends all over the world.
Well, you need a passport to go to the Midwest. That's for sure.
Yeah, I do. I think you need if you don't.
This is flyover country.
I think soon we'll need passports.
It's flyover country.
Pass between red and blue
for any reason.
Yeah, to pass between red and blue states, we'll have to.
That's right. Oh, I had another question. This is related. Oh, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
I had another
the second
question.
verse. I'm pretty proud of the second verse too.
Oh, go ahead. Let's do that first.
You replaced all the lights in your van. Then you replaced the guys who played in your van.
Yes,
and you never thought you'd be the replacement.
You'd be the replacement. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and give you a genius lyrics.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's all you needed to fulfill your life.
I listened to a lot of replacements to get there. And half the lyrics in there are
my validation that it's genius.
Literally, Paul Westerberg's lyrics are part of the lyrics in the song. So
right. Well written. I think I told you last time we talked, there was somebody who reviewed the album on, it was Phantom Tollbooth. Remember we talked about that?
Oh yeah.
And they were like, why do artists do this, about Jesus and say things? I'm like, he's freaking quoting a replacement song. He's not even making a freaking statement about Jesus. And I think it was about like minimizing who Jesus is, like making him sort of a character or whatever, like because that would be horrible. That would be horrible to bring Jesus down to our level for any reason.
Yes, another great reason to leave.
Holy crap. Oh my god. Okay, so I got another question. Okay, so of all the other songs you've ever written or been involved in making, what is the closest song to a replacement song?
I mean, I think,
or maybe it's that song.
Paul might have been in the. I wonder if that record even maybe has.
It might be that one. Yeah, you might have been channeling the replacements when you made that.
I think on that song,
especially the Paul, more Paul.
Yeah,
inspired.
Because I would say that my solo records weren't anything like the replacements.
Yeah,
or even Paul Westerberg, really. Even though
even Push Start, like some of the Push Start stuff was a little more,
a
little closer to punky.
Stuff is more pop punky.
Well, the first album was a little more closer to punky.
Yeah, the second one was us trying to be Wilco. Yeah, honestly,
it was, and I'm pretty upset. I don't know why you would try that, but I'm just kidding.
We really loved.
I wouldn't have even.
I'm trying to break your heart. Summer Teeth, actually, the Summer Teeth album is the record. So like I came to the Wilco, like after a lot of people. I came to the Wilco after a lot of people. Like I liked their later.
Me too.
Like
I came to it later.
Summer Teeth is like my introduction to the band and loved it. And then I Am Trying to Break Your Heart was like, wow, that was like right when I think OK Computer had come out, and that came out around then. And it was like dense and weird like that. Like I had to listen to it a couple times, and it was like it grew on each listen, and I loved it more and more. And like the amount of thought that went into that and the heart that went into it. I know there's a lot of there's a lot of darkness on that record for Jeff Tweedy too, because of like what was going on with him personally with his like drug abuse and stuff. But I just love that record. And then like Sky Blue Sky, I really, really love that record. And that was very different, very like kind of where they're at now, sort of. It's like a little more like rootsy, but I don't know. Why were we talking about?
That's one of those bands that is on my list of I need to spend some time exploring everything, and I haven't.
I know there's
I have a lot of those on my list. I'm like, I know they're going to be awesome because I've just heard enough people talk about them.
Yeah, the Wilco's just got some really. Jeff Tweedy's is like a really amazing songwriter. He has
a book that I was going to buy. It might be How to Write Good Songs, or That's probably not the title of it, but it's something like that.
No, yeah, it's How to Write One Good Song.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
I actually did a YouTube video on how to. I did two. So it's from his book, How to Write One Song, And then he did these songwriting exercises. I actually made two videos where I'll put a link in there, but where I just basically said, here's the process he talks about. And it's so good. It's like, it was really inspiring. I was already at a place where I'm writing a lot of music, but it was cool because it was like, it just gave me like, he plays with words all the time. He's like, he's trying to, you know, that's why he has great lyrics too. His lyrics are really cool. He's really influenced by like beat poets and stuff like that. But yeah, I love Jeff Tweedy too. I love his songwriting and his approach to songwriting for sure.
Yeah. It's on my list to get that book. Yeah.
But Don't Tell a Soul is definitely in my top Desert Island like record.
I think I know the answer to this. I'm going to ask it. If you had to pick a favorite Replacements, is it All Shook Down? That's what I think your answer is.
But
you don't have to. You don't have to.
It's really hard for me to decide between Don't Tell a Soul and All Shook Down. The song All Shook Down, Sadly Beautiful, like the sad ones on there, I really like. I think overall I like more of the songs on Don't Tell a Soul. I like all the songs on both albums, like every single song.
It's hard because they're quite different, I think.
Yeah, they are quite different.
Yeah, so that makes it
weird, like
more difficult.
I feel like All Shook Down feels a little more up and down, up and down, up and down. And I feel like Don't Tell a Soul is a little more consistent, like sound wise, maybe. I really like the upbeat stuff on All Shook Down is really, really good. My Little Problem.
Don't you want to be my little problem? Yep.
Yeah, that's a great.
Ben's pretty upbeat too, and I like that one a lot.
Attitude.
Yeah.
When It Began. I love Someone Take the Wheel. Been Out of Shape.
Yep.
Nobody.
Oh yeah, that's a great song.
That line about at the wedding, isn't that the one with the like who went to the wedding reception and signed in the book or something? Oh man, what is that? Heartaches on your wedding day, double takes when they look my way. Knees quake, there ain't a shotgun in the place. You like the frosting, just bought the cake. Your eyes can't fake, still in love with nobody. And I won't tell nobody. He's nobody. That she's still, the bride is still in love with you. The bridegroom drags you across that room, said I do, but honey, you were just a kid. Your eyes said I did. Still in love with nobody. And I won't tell nobody. Take a look on your wedding night in your wedding book. See what name I signed. Love nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah, so good. And on the last page it says love nobody. I won't tell nobody. Yeah, you're still in love with nobody. And I used to be nobody. Nobody. Not anymore. No. Yeah, so good. So like he has so many songs like that.
Anybody who can use the same word over and over again within good lyrics that impresses me.
Yeah, and it means something different each time. Yeah. It's kind of amazing. And I think his solo records are so good, like sonically too. Like they sound really good. Like you had it, like they're kind of leaving the late 80s production style with these two records, which might have been a turnoff for some people too, you know? Like
it was.
Not that it was like 100% like that, but for me the songs and the energy and the performances are so good that it overcomes any like 80s album production issues, you know, like sound wise. And the remasters I think fixed some things. I mean, the remasters aren't like changing the mix or anything, it's just making it a little more punchy. But anyway, if I was forced to choose at gunpoint between those two records, I would pick Don't Tell a Soul.
You have chosen well.
Would you go Don't Tell a Soul, or would you go All Shook Down?
I would go Don't Tell a Soul for the reasons you mentioned pretty much. I really like All Shook Down. I think Don't Tell a Soul has, not only is it sounds kind of contradictory, but it's more consistent, but it also has more variety sort of in different types of songs too, which sounds kind of contradictory.
Right.
But yeah, I really like both a lot. I got Don't Tell a Soul, and that was before All Shook Down came out, because I remember when it came out and I bought it. It was one of those ones where I got it and I was like, this is different than Don't Tell a Soul. I'm not sure. But it only took a listen or two, and then I was like, okay, this is fabulous. Yeah, so it's just different, a little bit different. It reminds me a lot of his solo stuff, which I love too. So, but yeah, I if I had to pick, I would pick Don't Tell a Soul, which still floors me that people hate it as much as they do. I don't get it. Did you listen to Under Grandpa Boy? Did you listen to any? I mean, is that I haven't,
I didn't. I don't like
that.
go back to those records a lot, but
Yeah.
there's some cool stuff on them. There's one song that I really like off one of those.
I want to
It's
say
like
I
this
maybe
little-
tried it, but just didn't. It wasn't because I didn't like it. I just, there's so much.
Yeah,
so
the Grandpa
much I
Boy
had to
was
listen to. It didn't grab me as much.
no,
I
me either.
I think the only one I have a copy of, a physical copy, is Eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
I love.
Mr. Rabbit is the song that I like. What was that? What was that on? That was on
It wasn't
stereo.
on Eventually. Yeah.
It was on stereo. Oh, I love that song. It's like this cool bluesy, like I don't know if you can hear it.
Yep.
Mr. Rabbit, Mr. Rabbit.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow, that's really cool. That's different.
It's really cool. It's just like it's a very bluesy thing, and I think he played everything on the record and like just did it all in his like basement, and I really liked it.
I'm seeing it.
That's
Just
like one
looking
of
at his
his, like-
Wikipedia page, I'm seeing some stuff I didn't know, and it's Wild Stab. I didn't know. Wild Stab is the 2016 debut from American rock music duo The I Don't Cares.
Oh, is
made
that
up
Paul
of
Westerberg
alternative
and
rocker
Juliana Hatfield?
Hatfield, who I love.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I knew that was a
Wow.
thing, but I haven't like listened to it.
See, I
a
didn't
ton.
even know. I really like Juliana Hatfield a lot.
I like Juliana Hatfield too.
I've listened to a lot of her solo stuff, and she did a thing for a while where she was just putting out a track here and there on her website or whatever, Wow, there's so much to discover. So Stereo's the one that Mr. Rabbit's on.
Yeah, I mean, Suicaine Gratification was a great record.
That came out before, after the Stereo, right? Oh no,
Yeah.
right before. It says before 1999. Okay,
Yeah, he's written just a lot of good songs.
those were
That
in some
Paul
of my
Westerberg.
poor days. That's probably why I don't know those.
Yeah,
My poor days,
literally can't afford
and
this.
the internet was just becoming a thing then. So, not
but all
it
these
wasn't
songs, this wasn't all available yet.
right. But the upside is so much more to discover and listen to
Yeah,
as
Yeah.
time allows. I'm on his page. I've seen that. I think I might have taken a picture in Minnesota. It's got his star. It's on the nightclub there where it's got all First Avenue in Minnesota. It's
Yeah.
got the stars. It's got Prince. It's got Paul Westerberg. It's got U2. It's got all
yeah,
all the people. But it's special for Paul, right? Because they're
Yeah.
from Minnesota. So cool.
yeah. I think his solo records rock pretty hard too. Like, actually. Oh yeah, the first song on 14 Songs too. Knocking on
I've
Mine.
heard 14 songs. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that one.
Knocking on Mine. Silver Naked Ladies. Things. That's a good song. Things. Man, what a
Things.
great song. Things I want to tell you, how you make me feel, how you look to me and how good it feels. Things I don't want to tell you, every little thing's all right, what I was before and where I was last night, always things, all these things. Things I try to tell you but come out oh so wrong, seem to feel pretty good, seem to last pretty long. Things I don't want to tell you, now there ain't no doubt, you lit a fire in me, can't seem to put it out,
Oh, that's
always
awesome.
things. I packed, and then the end, he does this with the single word. This is like his single word thing where he takes that word.
Where he takes one
And, like,
word and
does-
says it.
Down the line someday, you'll be a song I sing, a thing I give away. Pack my things today. I pack my things today.
Things I'm bound to tell you, like that dress looks great on you. I could use some breathing room, but I'm still in love with you. Things that never tell you, down the line someday, you'll be a song I sing, a thing I give away. Hey, hey. Pack my things today.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at the personnel, and it's interesting because Matt Wallace does bass, percussion, drums, and backing vocals.
Oh wow.
And Joan Jett does backing vocals.
Oh really?
Bunch of other people. I mean, a ton
That's
of other
awesome.
people.
I had no
Yeah.
idea.
I thought the Matt Wallace thing was interesting. So, okay, yeah. So I don't know if there was any. We covered it the way I wanted us to cover it.
We did this
We did.
justice.
We have determined for every Matt's fan what the best album is.
Yeah.
And
what is the best
now that we have
Replacements
decreed
album,
it-
and why is it Don't Tell Soul?
now that we have decreed it, it is.
I'm gonna go into the
Replacements
forum right now.
canon. It is
I'm
now
gonna-
in Replacements.
I'm going
canon.
I'm going onto the Facebook forum right now and saying that. I'm just gonna do that. Just start some crap. I haven't been in the
Start some crap.
Yeah.
Get to trolling, buddy. Trolling.
Oh my gosh. I'm literally gonna post that. What is the greatest
What
Matt's record?
and why is it? Don't tell us all.
Don't Tell a Soul.
You
There we
are
go.
gonna get ripped apart.
I'm ready for it.
You
I'm
are
gonna
gonna
just
get ripped apart.
let's see. Your post is pending. This they may not allow.
Yeah,
this.
it may not even get through that kind of post.
I'm gonna get wrecked
Oh,
for that.
man.
That's fun.
I do post
Um,
sometimes on those things. It's like just to see what people are gonna say.
I just need to. I'll find my my people, and then we can say. By the way, there's a great podcast coming out that you're gonna want to hear.
The truth.
The truth.
The truth has finally been.
The truth. Greatest record of all time.
Okay, well, we didn't talk about quite everything, but that's all right. We didn't talk about when the Replacements got banned from Saturday Night Live. Did you?
Was that
when they were
during
playing
that record?
"Bastards of the Young"? I think it was "Bastards of the Young" was the song. I think
That's a great song.
I know he said, "Come on, fucker," to Bob Stinson, and I think that's one of the reasons they got. I think that's one of the reasons they got banned. But I think they trashed the room, the green room.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever
because
were
they actually
in.
played "Bastards of Young"
Yeah.
on the first
And-
half. Got super
Yeah.
drunk.
Oh, maybe it was the second song when they got. what
They
was
got
this- what
super
was the
drunk
next second-
before they
Yeah.
performed "Kiss Me on the Bus."
Yes, "Kiss Me
I
on the
got
Bus."
them banned.
He's like, "Come on, fucker," at the guitar solo, whatever. And Bob Stinson is wearing this like unitard or something. Does it have a picture of him? Like he's wearing like
Probably.
they I guess they were you know this because you read the book. They were known for like switching outfits and stuff, like during intermission and stuff like that. Was that in the Troubled Turquoise Boys? Was that?
Yeah, I'm sure the Turquoise Boys had that information. Yeah.
Yeah, I can picture his what he had on.
Oh my gosh, they look like
Can you see
kinda
it?
like a
Can you, does it
90s
show his
punk-
little? You may have to watch a video to see it. But
pulling it up.
he had on like a. Oh yeah, I just pulled up a picture. It's like a striped. I think the rest of them changed clothes between those songs, and he put on some. It almost looks like a weightlifter type.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you can see it. Pictures I'm getting doesn't show it in all its glory. It's like a orange and blue striped thing with like the chest full open, and I don't know. Did you
Oh,
see it?
man.
Do you see a picture?
I'm
of
looking
it?
at. I don't see I see Paul's thing.
Let me see if I can.
Oh well.
Oh, it's on Far Out. Oh, there's a piece of it. He was totally wasted. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Sam
Yeah,
Kinison
Paul's
was on.
now. Yeah, that's after they switched clothes too. No, you can't see. You can't see it there because he's got a jacket on. That's before.
Oh god,
Yeah, I can't get a good shot. You'll have to watch it at some point.
that's hilarious.
It's like one of those things where it's like a whole body. It's all one piece, kind of like a jumper, like a woman. And then it's got the whole front's open. His whole chest is open. It like goes down, like sort of in a circular. It's got sleeves, but it goes no sleeves. It's like a tank top, but it goes down like into a like all his chest is all open, and he was just jumping all over the place.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's just.
And then I
glorious.
guess Lorne Michaels was just pissed because they trashed the freaking the
Yeah.
freaking room. It was so Replacements, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's very much a part of their
Then they were
lore.
banned, and then I think I thought it said I thought something I read a while back said at one point they came back on the show, but then something else I read said no, it was Paul Westerberg came back like in the early '90s.
Oh yeah, I could see
they were
that.
banned, and then Paul Westerberg he came back, and poor Bob passed on. So
Yeah.
lots of good YouTube adventures for
Oh my gosh,
the
there's so
listeners
much
if they want to go look.
So many.
The one where they did talent show was good too. That was really good. So,
and they actually played like they did like a reunion show, like, and I totally didn't go.
Yeah.
And I have regrets.
Yeah, it was called something really clever. Oh, back by unpopular demand, I think is what it was called. Something like that.
Yeah. And they were like they headed like some festival, like, or they were like one of the main acts at some kind of punk festival. And I remember seeing it, but the kids may have been kind of like really young at that point, and it was like not something I could do.
Yeah.
But boy, if they ever do another one, I will fly probably.
I'll go to see them. Yeah, if they do something else. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I would too. I'm going to see Death Cab.
Oh, are you? Yeah.
Yeah, the Transatlanticism. I'm actually just
They're
finishing.
going to do that. Are they doing that album? Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing the entire Transatlanticism album, and they're doing the entire thing. Oh, someone answered my. I was going to read this.
This is awesome. This is like live.
This is the first thing he said was, "You spelled Tim wrong."
That's nice. Nice. No, I appreciate that. That's awesome. That's an awesome response.
That is an awesome response.
That's great. See, I can deal with that. I can deal with that.
I could.
That kind of humor is respectable. Yeah.
Yeah, that is respectable.
Man, last year I went to so many concerts. It's almost like I'm like, okay, I need to rest for a little while this year. And Death Cab was one of the ones I almost went to and didn't. They were in Kansas City.
I've never seen them.
I want to say towards the end. I haven't either. I wanted to say towards
I haven't seen a lot
of
bands actually.
Towards the end of last year, they were in Kansas City, or maybe it was early. Maybe it was really no. It wasn't. It wasn't this year. It was last year. Maybe in the fall. And I just was like, yeah, I've spent so much money on concerts, and I'm kind of just like, okay, let me retool a little bit. Now, Pedro the Lion's here again. I saw him last year about this time, and it was awesome. It was
was it the Control record? Is that what they were doing?
It wasn't. They did a couple Control tracks. That's what this one is, I think. I think it's Control. They're doing that now. They're playing that album in full. No, it was Havasu had just come out. Are you familiar with much of their
I know the record. I don't know it like really well. Like
I really liked Phoenix. Have you heard Phoenix? You should listen to Phoenix.
That's the last record, right?
Yeah, I think it's called Phoenix. Isn't that that's the name of the album? I'm pretty sure.
No, it's about Phoenix.
There's 3 albums in a trilogy. Yeah, I might. It's quite possible I have it wrong.
Hold up. Yeah, you might be right.
I think I'm right.
Phoenix. I like Phoenix.
It's called
Yellow Bike.
It's
Yellow
called
Bike.
Have you heard that song?
Yeah.
I love that song. That's probably my favorite one. But that album is really good. And then they have Havasu that came out right before I saw him last year about this time. There's a song on Phoenix called My Quietest Friend that's really good too. But anyway, I think he said they're doing like it's sort of like I'll call it a trilogy because I think that's what he called it.
And that's what he did with, wasn't that the other record?
There should be another one coming out. What's that?
I feel like his Control, there was like a trilogy of stuff.
Yeah. He did a couple songs. He did Indian Summer last year. Well, maybe that was the only one he did. But
they're doing It's Hard to Find a Friend and Control.
Oh, okay. Both of them. Yeah. I knew they were doing Control. Now I'm kind of like, I really prefer the smaller venues where I can get up close and really be immersed. I've changed so much just in the last few years. It's like, I want to get more involved in the music. It's like I'm a teenager. I want to be up there towards the stage. I want to move with the music and feel it and really get engaged. So I'm tempted to go, but I'm also tired and have a lot going on. So, but it's at a local place here. It's at a place called the Record Bar, and it's like this. It's a pretty small place, and it's probably like, I haven't looked at tickets. It's probably $20 or $30. It's probably not that much. It's not the old days, right? $20 or $30.
No. Yeah.
That's not that much.
That would have been like some big
back when
tier act.
Concerts were like $4 or whatever.
I already have 2 laugh emojis on this post.
Do you?
I love your question, but don't agree with your answer at the same time. DTS has some decent numbers on it.
Okay. There's a little bit
Some
of
respectful
there's a
disagreement
little bit of
there.
respect amongst the replacement forum members. So
Yeah.
and nobody said who yet, so that's good. Of course, it's a replacement.
no one said
forum,
who.
so
No one
nobody's
said
gonna
who.
say that.
That's right. This is a respectful Matt's forum.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, you got to watch my little my speed drawing. I'm very proud of it.
I will. Yeah, I got your link, and I'm gonna watch it, and I'll also put it in the show notes thing.
And my instrumental. I need to cover some replacement songs.
I mean, I know you're kind of in between here. You just did FOM.
Yep.
February album writing month, right? For those who don't know what FOM is. And I don't do it, but you know what? I thought about it. I thought about just doing the writing.
You can just write
something.
lyrics.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
actually followed it on Instagram, and I'm like, maybe I'll jump into this or whatever. But
oh man, I had
just because just for the arts for art's sake,
Yeah,
not
that's
like I know what I'm
what
doing,
it is.
right? So, but you just did that, and I know I've tried to keep up on your many posts of songs and stuff because I love
hard.
them.
Yeah, it's okay.
And I'm glad you're doing it, doing a lot, because there's always something there for me to see. I kind of followed while you were going through February and talking about some things and stuff. So you want to talk about what you're doing? I know you're doing some shows and stuff, but what are you doing as far as music and stuff, like working on new stuff and all that?
I'm gathering stuff for a new album. I have a lot of material, and it changes kind of where I'm at. And like when I finally decide to kind of like coalesce that into I'm going to make this into a record. I have a lot of unreleased stuff, stuff that I've released as standalone, like a bunch of singles. Like I have this song "Time Ain't on Your Side" that is a killer rock number. Another song called "Vicious Kisses" that were like these solo releases.
Now the Vicious Kisses I've heard, right? Because that was on, that's a great song.
That was
I love
featured.
That one.
Yeah, it was featured in a couple different shows.
That was kind of post-punky. I like that.
Yeah. It's kind of inspired by Lassie Foundation and like
oh nice, yeah,
My Bloody Valentine, like kind of the shoegaze stuff, and then a more modern band called Magic Wands. It was like for one of these like writing companies like that was looking for music, and it was just inspiring. So I have quite a few songs like that I think are really good, that I spent a lot of time on, that were just kind of like put out into the ether and never were like coalesced into like a collection. That I'm thinking about just like remixing, maybe remastering, making them just as good as I can make them, like not really drastically changing anything, and then putting them out as a single album, not like to re-record them or anything like that. But and I recorded an instrumental album. Honestly, when I put out my last album, which is Transitions, which I'm still playing on, and that's like a core of my songs that I'm performing right now. I had recorded what my original intent was to release an instrumental album, because I kind of thought my dad would be into that, like having some like cool instrumental thing, which I still haven't released. But I did this thing during Advent. Every day of Advent, I recorded one live take of a song that I recorded into my studio mic with one mic and just played one time, and it was just improvised, 25 different like improvised acoustic pieces. And like I really want to put that out and package it into something, and I don't know what that would look like right now. So that's on my back burner, like a kind of how the 77s had Sticks and Stones, which I love. Like it's probably one of my favorite 77. That's a band I still can listen to.
That's kind of up there with those two albums, the self-titled, the Island, we'll call it the Island record.
Yeah, the Island release.
The Island record and Sticks and Stones are kind of like Don't Tell a Soul and All Shook Down. It's like I'd love these are both so awesome. Which one do I like better? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that is Don't This Way. Oh man, what a song. That's like one of those songs where the guitar solo
that
is
one's
so
holy
good.
Crap. That's one of the saddest. That might be the saddest song I've ever heard.
I mean, you know what? The
Holy
self-titled
crap.
record has some amazing, like really sad songs. Like, oh gosh, there's some
Frames Without
I Could
Photographs.
Laugh, Bottom Line.
I Could Laugh. Yeah. Oh yeah, that second half. The second half of the album.
Oh yeah.
Has a lot of like
Don't
Frames
Say
Without
Goodbye.
Photographs. Don't Say Goodbye.
I Could Laugh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Dude, that song
But
is
it's not
so
funny.
good.
Yeah, it's so good. And I think, was it you that told me that,
That record is so good.
was it you that
He
told
doesn't
me
like that
Mike
record.
Rowe didn't like that record? I
didn't
would
like that
love, and I'm going
record.
to try to do this, and I don't know if I'll be successful. I would love to get him to come on to talk, and get you on to talk, and get Chris Taylor. I don't know if you know who Chris Taylor is. I know that name. Him. He was in a band called Love Coma.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
But to get Chris on, because Chris loves the album too, that self-titled, the Island record. I'd love to get us all on to talk and be like, why do you not like this record?
Maybe he just didn't like the production.
From three
or like...
people who love it, right?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I don't know if I could get Mike Rowe on to talk or not. Maybe.
I know someone that contacts. They're doing do you know about the whole the reality rock Us Kids documentary? Have you seen that?
No.
They're doing a documentary on the scene from like the 80s and early 90s.
Wow.
And
Us Kids was
the 77s are 100% going to be a part of that.
Us Kids was
it
Undercover?
was the title of the first Lifesavers album.
The Lifesavers, yes. I was
LSU, Mike Knott.
Yes.
It was another
Kids, that was weird because it had,
amazing.
I think, wasn't Mike Stand, like there was a bunch of people in the band at that point on Us.
Oh
on
yeah.
Us Kids. It was because I remember I had that cassette at one point.
And they all broke out into their own band.
And it showed them all and I was like, and I think Mike Stand was in it too, which was weird.
He might have been.
I don't know.
He might have been.
I can't remember for sure. I just remember it was, and then they kind of broke off into their own little bands or whatever. No, I didn't hear about that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That record, man, that record is so good. The 77s record is so good.
Yeah.
Man.
It's one of my top albums.
Yeah, I would love to do, boy, if we could get him on here and then talk about how much we love it and then have him tell us
Well,
why
Chris knows him, and I know Chris,
awesome.
I've talked to
and
Chris, so
I know
maybe
John
I can get him
was
on.
the guy that booked all the shows and had this thing called Reality Rock. It was a really big Christian radio station. I see him like a couple times a year at least, and they're interviewing all those guys. If they raise enough money, they're trying to raise $50,000 to make it. I think they've raised 15,000 of it. And yeah, if anyone's still listening, if any of this makes it in there, Us Kids documentary of the music scene. I mean, if you were a part of the Christian music rock scene ever, this will be something where the music was honestly pretty good, not like what you know what I'm saying? Like there's something about that little scene and that place
that
at that
niche
time
within that. Yeah,
it had like something really special.
Those artists were almost trapped in that little niche. It's like they could have easily not been part of the Christian market at all.
Yeah, and
probably some of them would have preferred to not be part of that little, within that, not preferred to be part of that group or niche of people, community, but within the Christian label thing, I don't know. It was just a weird time, like, and there's only, I say a handful, I mean, it's a big handful that understand and can relate to like that time and that music, people who were raised kind of the way we were, and we're sort of looking for that kind of super honest creative music, instead of like all the surface, like the music that was being used as a tool to evangelize and stuff like that. Like they were doing like honest, legitimate music, and messages and stuff like that weren't just like a tool being used by religion or the church or whatever. I won't go too far down that. Sorry. I started to go down that road.
Sorry, Replacements fans. That's why I inherit the earth rang for
That's
us.
right.
But
yeah, no, have you seen this wasn't nearly as awesome as that sounds like it's going to be, but have you seen Electric Jesus? Have you watched that?
I haven't seen Electric Jesus, and I haven't seen the other.
I want to say Electric Jesus is on streaming. It's worth watching. You should check it out if you get a chance.
Adding it to my list.
I think John J. Thompson did a lot of the music.
Oh yeah.
Picking it'll be fun for you. It's fun for people like me and you who can like see the bands in the background who they have up, like their little album flats and stuff like that. So the 77s, it's got them up and at one point, and it's got, Undercover and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. And it's so on point a lot of the things that it's showing. It's like about this kid who's part of a Christian rock band, and our message is supposed to be about bringing people to God and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. I'm pretty sure it's free on some streaming thing, but
I'll have to check that out.
Anyway, I don't think it's going to be as awesome as what you're talking about. That sounds so awesome. So awesome.
I think it's going to be
a
really
select
good.
few.
Yeah,
people who can
I mean,
relate
it's
to
definitely a niche group of people, but I
say
think it's
few,
actually
but there's
going
a
to be
lot of people still,
because a lot of things were like, there was that really big Jesus movie that just came out. Man, I don't know what it was called. I forget what it's called. Current
Avatar. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus Revolution.
I don't think that was a Jesus Revolution.
Jesus Revolution. And a lot of stuff was just not in there because it was kind of focusing on sort of your bigger artists and not really. These are kind of like, they're kind of in this in-between space, and it was much smaller. But there were some bands like The Prayer Chain or, you know, Mortal. There's some of those bands that kind of like, Switchfoot kind of came out of some of that, like, and they rocketed out of that. Maybe kind of towards the end of it. Push Start Wagon was kind of at the end of it in the mid 90s. And we just, you know, we did play some churches and some youth groups, but then we're mostly playing, like, in our second incarnation, there was zero of that, you know, like none of us were at all into doing that at all. And we always had a problem with the label Christian band. So.
Have you heard of Luxury? Did you ever?
Yeah.
Dig
Luxury.
There's a documentary about Luxury, which is kind of surprising. It was pretty good.
You have friends that are artsy and have cameras. You could have a documentary.
I guess it was a really good documentary. I think it's on streaming free somewhere too, but that one surprised me because I was like, that's pretty niche in Luxury. But like you said, if you've got friends who are artsy, right, and have cameras. Yeah. So I think I saw you post something about, this is way off. I think I saw you post something about the Vegas Nerve.
Yeah, the Vegas Nerve. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you guys are going to do a show?
Yeah, we're going to do a show. The band is it's such a great band. And that's coming up at the end of April. And then we're going to play a couple more shows for sure.
Nice.
We tend to do this. Like we haven't played in 10 years. We played in college. We'll play and then we'll stop playing and then we'll play and then we'll go away for 5-10 years. We're all friends. We just get busy or you know, it's always hard scheduling 5 people who are adults with busy lives, but we all have been like showing up for practices and everything. So honestly, it's just like a couple of the guys have kids that are in sports, and so their weekends are like sometimes tied up with practices or games. But we're doing a show, and great rock band. We are a bar rock band, but we are also like, I'm not the songwriter. The songwriter's name is George Montemala. He's amazing. He's like such a good songwriter, like ridiculous. You got to look up the Vegas Nerve, Misery Loves Harmony on
for sure. And I think when you say bar or rock band, that's a little minimalistic, I think, for how good
we're like I mean, I just want to say a rock really band, but I know some people rock band is like, we're pretty raw, we're pretty garagey, but we're also like pretty cool arrangements. Like the band is just absolutely, none of us claims to be a great player, like how people in Radiohead or like Wilco, like where they're just these virtuosic players. We're not, but like as a band, we're a pretty powerful rock band. I don't know, like we play like little clubs and bars, you know, that's generally where we end up playing, and we just love playing, you know, we just like love playing together. The songs are really good songs. We have really good songs. Like, he's a great lyricist. George is an amazing lyricist, very influential to me, like in my writing, and like seeing him and watching his process, like for me as a songwriter, like taught me how to figure songs out. Like I remember like I was listening to Octung Baby trying to figure out how to play Love is Blindness, and I'm like, there's no guitar in this, how do I play this? And he's like, you listen to the bass, like, you know, it's like he taught me like just like stuff like that, like where I'm like, I didn't understand, like, oh, the lowest note is the chord, it's like an A major or it's an A minor, but like listen to that boom 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 boom, and then that's the chords you could play. So he was like that in my life, like you know, lots of people I've learned lots of things from lots of people, but I was around him a lot playing in a band and like learning about being in a band and writing from him. So, but that's cool. So that band is playing, I'm playing, and I'm writing and recording, and I'm just finishing this Death Cab cover I'm doing
Which one are you
Title
doing?
and Registration.
Oh, yeah.
Off of Transatlanticism. And
Nice.
I wanted to do one that was a little more like heavy, like a little more rocking. So it's a little faster and a little more like all like there's parts of it that drive a
Interesting.
little.
Yeah.
But I made my version like more all drive.
Okay. Yeah.
I it honors the original, but it's not like a straight cover for sure. That's what I think I like covers that do that. I don't like covers that just sound like the original.
Yeah, if it sounds just like the original, you're like, okay,
I could just listen to
kind of what was the point? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the point?
Yeah. No, this is not that for sure.
You know, it's like put a little creativity into it. You
Yeah.
reinterpret. Yeah.
I'll try to remember to
Nice.
send that to you.
Yeah,
Just
for sure.
you can hear a rough demo of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Death Cab.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go. It's been fun, man.
Peace.
As always. I love
Yeah.
talking with you.
Thanks for your time on your spring
welcome.
break. You're in the middle of spring break glory right now.
Yep. I'm
Those-
still loving my spring break. A few
Yeah.
more days, maybe 2 days, and I'll start feeling the sadness of
Then it's
the
coming to an end. It's
Yeah,
coming to an end,
but then
baby.
I have summer coming up in 2 months, you know.
That's right.
So well,
Yeah.
let's see, April, May. Yeah, basically 2 months. I'll be on my summer break. So
What's that like? Does it work out?
it's
to
like a
2
month and a
months?
half, basically.
Month and a half.
Yeah, a month and a half.
Yeah.
It's
That's nice.
It's amazing.
Sweet gig.
It's a
Yeah.
sweet gig.
That part of it.
Teaching is not an easy gig, but if you
all right.
like kids, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, you can't beat the holidays, man. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
for sure.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy, and I get to be creative, and I have a particularly creative job where I basically design my own curriculum. I'm not like an English teacher or math teacher where there's like everyone's doing this particular set of curriculum for this grade level. Like I
Yeah.
can kind of do what I want, so it's kind of awesome.
I think that suits you. Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of It feels great. It feels great that it just like evolved into that for me, and I'm very happy in my job. And the only other thing I would want to do is like just make music full time, and I do make music all the time. So, and I mean, who knows? I may not love it if I had to like make my living off of it, and I had to just like do whatever I had to do, like be in a cover band or wedding band to pay the bills. You know, I may not love it like I love it if I was doing that. I don't know.
That's something I think about all the time. I talk to
But
my kids
I
about
do-
that. It's like
I do love
if you were
music, and
doing
it's-
your passion as a job full time, you may not. I mean, there's certain things that go with a job full time, right? I think it could change a passion, right? It could change the way you see it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I got to share that. I'm going to share this to you. Are you in the Are you
No.
in the Paul Westerberg and the Replacements
I'm
group?
not. No.
I want to
You're getting lots of. I can
just
only
for
imagine,
sh-
though.
I'm for sure that it's pretty funny.
It'd be funny
It's-
though.
this-
You know what would be funny now is if I like waited like a couple days and then I joined it and posted exactly the same thing or something like that. Like, yeah.
I'm sending you the thread.
I
I'm
could
sending you the thread.
embellish a little. Hey, I'm a brand new Replacements fan, and don't tell a soul. It's I could just say something.
They're like, some idiot said that last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, interesting. Someone said, I am the minority in my belief that they never did a great record, but putting their best songs together would make 2 flawless albums. Huh.
That's actually, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't agree
Yeah.
with that, but I could understand how somebody would see it that way, except for the last 2 albums. I think if you took those out of the mix, I could definitely see like somebody saying, listen, they never, they're all kind of a hodgepodge of songs.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well-
Hey, thanks for your time, man. Hope you enjoy
Yeah,
the
you're
rest of your
welcome.
break.
I will. I'm going
Keep
to
in touch.
enjoy it.
Thanks for, all the chat. So
Dude, always. I
the
love
on the
love
record
talking to
and
you.
off the record. All right.
Yes, that's right.
Take care of yourself.
Both
All right.
excellent. You too.
Okay.
Peace.
Later. Bye. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Are you pissed at us? Are all you Replacements fans pissed at us? Do you think we're nuts? Do you think we're crazy? Do you think we don't know good Replacements songs when we hear them? Well, you can jog on over to Post Punk Heartstrings on Facebook and leave a comment letting me know how disappointed you are with all of our assertions and conclusions in this podcast. I think it's pretty obvious that we both really love the Replacements and that we really value all of their albums. It's just that we happen to think that Don't Tell a Soul is the best. It's the most cohesive, full, consistent, well-rounded album by The Replacements. There, I said it again. I want to thank all of you who took the time to listen clear through to this point in the podcast. I want to thank those of you who have been here before and have returned to visit again. If you're not very familiar with The Replacements music, check it out, please. It's all over the place. It's not hard to find. It's a much-loved group, much-covered group, and you'll find all sorts of blogs and interviews and fan sites. And while you're out there searching on the internet, don't forget to check out Steven Wesley Guiles. I'm going to leave some links in the show notes. He's making all sorts of awesome music. As we talked about, he has a song called Paul, off an album called LA Was Our Alamo with his band Push Start Wagon. And the song is a tribute to Paul and the Replacements. You can hear that song on one of my earlier podcasts. I believe it was episode number 7. I did a couple episodes, 7 and 8, with Steven Wesley Guiles, and if you haven't heard those, I encourage you to go back and check those out. Meanwhile, like I said, I'm going to put links to Steve's music in the show notes. He's on Spotify. He's on Bandcamp. You should go support him. He does a very wide variety of music. He just got done putting together a couple cover tunes. One is The Postal Service, Such Great Heights, and the other one is Title and Registration, Death Cab for Cutie. And he shared those with me, and I really, really love them. I like his version of Such Great Heights better than the original. And Title and Registration, he just really took that one and ran, and I really love what he did with it. I'm fairly sure he will be releasing those somewhere, sometime soon, in summertime. So be on the lookout for those. You can follow Steve on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. He has a website. And again, I will leave the links in the show notes. I searched around for covers of the Replacements songs from Don't Tell a Soul, looking for the one that felt just right for me to leave the episode with. And I came across the album called I'm in Love with That Song. Various artists covering the Replacements songs. The album came out in 1999, 10 years after Don't Tell a Soul, by the way. So I leave you with DM3's version of Rock and Roll Ghost. Peace to you all. Until next time, take care.
rock and roll ghost.